Welcome to Miss Martin Muses and Pub Crawl. It is another hour of Pub Crawl. We have reached, believe it or not, our fourth hour. So that means we are already 3 drinks in and about ready to start our other one. And we are meeting at this pub with none other than Stephanie herself, my nerdy home. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses.
Hi, it's been a long time since we streamed together, but I'm here. I got my whiskey. I'm ready for the pub crawl. I'm
Yay!
ready.
What kind of whiskey do you have there?
It's Kentucky bourbon.
Well done. Is Kentucky bourbon the name of it, or is it?
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Oh, it's actually called that. Okay, because I'm thinking, is it Snobs Creek? Is it
No,
Woodburn?
yeah,
Okay,
it's
it literally is Kentucky
Yep.
bourbon. Well, that's great. Yeah, I'm actually having a Diet Coke with blackberry flavor in it, so a completely sober drink tonight. So, but hey, we are all for day drinking here at Miss Martin Muses, and so we're so happy to be here. And look who is in the chat. It is Corey Cochran. Hello, thank you for being here. Trey Courtney, thank you, and Steve. Oh my goodness. Steve Kenobi. Stephanie smeared lipstick all over my face and called me an ugly girl. Then she demanded me pay her $20 for it. I gave her 22. I think
it happened at the Barbie movie. Okay, that's when it happened. Stieg demanded that I go to the Barbie movie with him. He just had to go and see this movie opening night, midnight drop. So I was like, you're taking me away. I don't want to see this movie. He made me go, and that's why I did it.
I knew it. I knew it. He was protesting too much. I was about ready to call him a filthy liar, but okay, all right.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
That's what the $20 is for. It's my movie ticket.
Okay, there you go. Okay, well, always here at Miss Martin Muses, we are meeting in a pub, and the pub that Stephanie chose is this one right here. Could you please tell us about this pub?
Yes, that is Rock and Rye Pub, or Rock and Rye. That is a cigar whiskey bar. I absolutely love that bar. It is back home. I every single time that I go back home and I visit home, I go to that bar, Rock and Rye. It's like a very well kept secret. You don't even know it's there. And I mean, look at it. It's gorgeous. They have like hundreds of bottles of different types of whiskey, along with other liquor brands. But I mostly stick to the whiskey. And they have this drink that I cannot for the life of me can remember this drink. And I was really trying to remember it too before I came on the stream. But they have this drink. It's almost like a whiskey sour, but it tastes like oranges. It is delicious. I order it every time I go. I get nothing but that. And then they also have like a bunch of like bar food and bar snacks. And I really love that bar. It's a nice little kept secret. It is one of the cleanest bars I've ever been to. And I don't know, I really like the atmosphere and the aesthetic. And yeah, they have a cigar menu too. Oh, it's so good.
Wow.
It does actually.
Yeah, it looks like the bar in The Shining says Steve. Yeah. Wait, so do they let you actually smoke the cigars in there?
Yeah, no, you can't smoke them inside. They have this whole outdoor patio that you have to sit down and smoke the cigar outside. But I love going there. It's so nice. I don't think that they sell a lot. Or they might. I see a lot of people outside at nighttime, not really during the day, but like super late at night they'll be outside because it's a lot cooler. And then I think like before I came to Florida back in January, it was still super cold. And like I went there, I think like a couple nights before I left. And they had like heaters out there. Went outside, had some cigars. I was out there with some friends before I left. So that was really fun.
Oh, well, there we go.
Yeah.
So
I love this bar.
Okay, Rock and Rye, everybody. I think that's a cool name, actually.
Rock and Rye. You don't know that it's there. It always looks closed or like shut down because like it always looks closed. It always looks shut down, and it's not like it's in a bad part of town either. It's like it's up. I know you know where it would be. It's like it's kind of like where it's like Fiesta, Texas area. you know, so it's like it's not in a bad area or anything like that. It's in a really good area, but for whatever reason, there aren't a lot of people at this bar. I just don't think that like people know that it's there because a little further down across the street, there's an even bigger bar that has like live bands playing. So like most people are over there at that one, and I love this one. I love this bar. It's awesome.
Okay, well, everyone go find this bar. I know what you're talking about, and I'll tell you what, the parking there is a nightmare. So
yeah, it is.
Yes, it's really hard to get a parking space. And sometimes when I meet people there, I will take an Uber because I can't handle the parking. I just
Oh, I
can't.
drive with people. I'll either Uber or I'll drive with people because I don't want to. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to deal with parking there either.
Yeah. And of course, it's always safe to have a designated driver. Steek says, super cold, not buying it.
It
Well,
was
relatively
cold.
speaking.
Yeah, I mean for Texas. For
Yeah.
Texas, it was cold. It was
Yeah.
Texas cold.
Yeah. We can't all be in the Antarctic or Arctic Circle. Where it is. Yeah, well, I think there was some freezing that we even had, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, there was. It was like around that time where it
Mhm.
was really really cold. And I mean like I can handle like the cold Texas weather because it doesn't really get, I mean, let's be fair.
Mhm.
Doesn't really get that cold. The city shuts down at like 30 degrees. But
Mhm.
like yeah, it was really cold that night. Super cold that night. So
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, there you go. And now you're living in the land of gators and
mhm.
everything.
Man,
Crazy land.
it took me about 5 months to finally see like a gator in the
Oh.
wild, a wild gator. Everybody, I think Krista was like, I've seen so many. I've seen so, and I hadn't seen a single one. I
Oh.
finally saw one. And it was
Oh.
just down the street. Like we have this little pond. It was just down the street hanging out on the grass. I was like, oh my God, there it is.
Yeah, any body of water is certainly a dangerous place to be in Florida. Even at miniature golf, it's like be careful. They'll come and they'll get you. Oh my goodness. Well, we got a myriad of topics to talk about tonight. Just not one in particular, but we mentioned some movies that we've seen. I've seen The Sound of Freedom. You have not. I'm
Oh no,
correct
I
on
saw
that?
The Sound of Freedom.
Oh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
did see The
Okay.
Sound of Freedom. Hmm.
Yeah.
I
What do you think
did
about it?
the yeah, I did the free ticket. I went to the website to get a free ticket, and as soon as the movie was over and there was that special message from from Jim Caviezel,
Mhm.
um, I immediately like paid it forward. I was like, wow, yeah, I bought tickets for other people to go and see it. But yeah, I definitely did see The Sound of Freedom. It's a very tough movie to get through.
Mhm.
And I cannot believe how the media is portraying it as QAnon adjacent movie, a movie for dads with like brain worms, this conspiracy that human trafficking doesn't exist, and it's so ridiculous. It's so
Mhm.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is why people don't trust the media anymore. It's why, because they can see the blatant cover up that they're pulling with all of these. Yeah.
Yeah, especially this one. I think that they were still living in that dinosaur age when they had a monopoly on these kinds of things. But it's like, listen, word gets out. It's like we have the internet for crying out loud. And of course, as soon as people started seeing it, the word of mouth just went on fire. It
Hmm.
was really, really
Well,
good.
that was their advertising pretty much, was word of mouth, because they really
Mhm.
didn't have an advertising budget. This movie was shelved and blocked for so long
Mhm.
that there wasn't an advertising budget, so it was word of mouth. That was
Mhm.
their advertising, word of mouth. And I think like the simple advertising that they've been doing, I've actually been seeing more of it now that the movie is actually making money, it's successful. I've been seeing more advertisements on
Mhm.
social media platforms. So I've seen it a lot on Instagram and a lot on Twitter, like go see Sound of Freedom.
Yeah.
That's mostly where I've seen it, and it makes sense because I feel like it's and also I haven't seen it on regular TV because I don't watch a lot of regular TV. Um,
Yeah.
but it makes sense that it's there because it would be I guess like a cheaper way to advertise, on social media.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah, Arthur Collins says, the moment the media describes something as adjacent, I know they have no real argument but want to create a fuss.
Yeah, I think social media has really ruined the media. It's ruined the media because, people put their own takes on things, or they make the hypocrisy of the media very apparent, and it ruins their reputation as trusted, as a trusted platform to actually give you an unbiased news. It completely ruins it. I remember I can't remember which story it was, but literally, like, they put together all of these media outlets together reading the same exact script, and it was all the same exact script, and I cannot remember what they were talking about, but someone pieced together every single news network, and it was just a complete script, and that thing went super viral. And I don't understand how people can even trust the media and what they say, and all of these media outlets. And independents are becoming, it's the new media. YouTubers, people on Rumble, people like independent people breaking away from the formal media that we once knew are becoming the new media, because they don't want to toe the line. They don't want to stick to the script and put something false out there. All of this misinformation that the media made huge, they're like, misinformation this, misinformation that. They are the ones that are spreading the misinformation. They create their own narrative and then they put it out there, and that's the misinformation. So
well, no, precisely. And I just love it when they say misinformation, and when they were putting out what we now know to be misinformation, they're just silent. And that's why I've always had a problem when they started up this whole misinformation thing, which was only very, very recently, during a certain year that rhymes with 2020. And it was just insane, because I'm like, all of a sudden people are talking about, oh, you can get information, but it's wrong. Because before, I think that they were trying different tactics and it didn't work. And of course, the misinformation didn't work because everyone that knows anything about propaganda, that of course the people doing the propaganda are going to tell you that it's true. And the more you have an institution doing it, the more corruption there is.
Oh yeah. I mean, they completely took a note out of, China's playbook with the propaganda. I mean, like Biden's team completely just took a note out of there. They're like, we're going to do this with the American public. And, more people are pushing back against it and just saying like, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah. Oh, it says BBC, Archer Collins says BBC was launching a disinformation service. Oh dear. Yeah, they tried to hear it with us, but that got mocked out of existence. Hello, Gaming or What? Yes, hello, everyone here.
Hello.
Yep.
I saw Hypnotic. What's up, Hypnotic?
Yeah. Hypnotic Gaming or What? TD and everyone that's coming in and everyone that will be watching on the replay. Always good to see you, Achilles Jones. A question for you here. Have you seen Meg 2 yet?
No, I'm gonna go see it tonight. I've been wanting to go see it since it came out, and I have not had the time. So I'm gonna go see it tonight after Mario Kart. There's one late show. That's the one thing that I do not like about Florida, is that everything closes so freaking early here. It's ridiculous. I figured like I'm moving to this city that it's a tourist city. Shit's gonna stay open late. I just know it. No, everything closes at like 9 or 10. Including
because everyone's old. Everyone's old. They're old. It's God's waiting room.
Oh my gosh! Including movie theaters. There's some movie theaters where like their latest showing is like 9:30. I was like, what the heck? But there is a showing at 11. I think like is the latest showing that I found. So I might go see it.
That's like the middle of the night. Oh, Joy's Limit says he can't stay, but thank you for coming in and popping in. Yay. Well, Meg, I've heard some things about the Meg 2 movie, but for crying out loud, I don't think it's supposed to be War and Peace. You know what I mean?
No, not at all.
To be Jaws.
Not at all. Yeah. It's I feel like it's a high budget sci-fi movie, which I absolutely love. I love all of those ridiculous sci-fi shark, alligator, snake, dinosaur movies that would come on the Sci-Fi Channel. Those were my ultimate guilty pleasure movies. I wouldn't take it seriously. I feel like it's just like Piranha 3D when that movie, like that's where I put the Meg movies. That's where I put the Meg movies. They're in there with like Sharknado and Piranha 3D. You know, right there, two-headed shark attack movie. That's where they lie.
That's where they go. Yeah, but you're gonna have a good time, one way or another, and people are gonna get eaten. Yeah, it's just a dumb shark movie. Yeah, sci-fi movies are horrible. Well,
and that's why I love them. Mwah.
Yeah, exactly. So bad it's good.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
That's why I love them.
Oh gosh, it's kind of like Piranha minus boobs and blood. Oh dear. Is Jason Statham starring again?
Jason Statham, yeah, he's in it again.
Okay, yeah.
Apparently, I cannot confirm because I haven't seen it, but I heard that he has like a fist fight with a shark under the water.
Nice. Nice.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. It looks so stupid.
Well, speaking of which, before actually, we'll get to this question in a second. How about sharks? Have you seen any sharks yet?
No, I haven't been to the beach. I haven't been to the beach at all. I haven't been. I want to go there, but it took me like, oh my goodness, like four months to even have seafood here, and now that's all I eat. I love seafood.
I was gonna say,
yeah, I love seafood, and I was just like, dude, the ocean's like right there. I want to eat some seafood. So yeah, seafood broil. I've been going to this one place that has it, and oh my gosh, it is amazing. Like I didn't even know that they had, lobster, shrimp, and crab that size. Delicious.
Well,
because I mean, all of our seafood in Texas comes from the Gulf, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
oh no, I know. I spend a lot of time over in Florida now, so yeah, I live off of the fish over there. It's amazing because it's so fresh. Yeah, right.
It's so fresh and good. Yeah,
it's a monster. Yeah, we endorse.
But yeah,
fish.
I haven't been to the beach yet.
Well, that is a crime.
I know. I need to go. That's a vlog. I've already said it. We got to go to the beach.
Yeah. How about a certain sloth movie, Steph, says TD. I'm not, or is that an in joke or something I don't know about?
No, there's a new movie.
Oh.
There's a new movie coming out called Slaughterhouse. It's about like a serial killer sloth. It looks horrible and I love it.
Wait a second. That sounds like the best movie ever.
Yeah. It's about a serial killer sloth.
Oh,
it looks terrible and I'm going to see it opening day.
What's it called?
Slaughterhouse. Like it's a play on slaughter. No, yeah, it's a play on slaughterhouse, but it's Slaughterhouse. Like I cannot handle scary movies. No.
Yeah.
Scary movies, slasher movies, can't do it. I will go and watch Slaughterhouse. That is my level, right, of scary movie right there. That's my level of slasher movie. That's my tolerance. I will go see Slaughterhouse.
Oh gosh. Well, I haven't even heard of it and I want to see it. I was going to say film of the year. I mean, yeah. I wish I'd have thought about it. Oh boy. Archer Collins says, I would imagine you get both Gulf and Atlantic seafood. Yeah, I guess. I don't know about Gulf stuff. I'm on the Atlantic side when I'm in Florida. So yeah, I can't wait to see it. Yeah, we endorse sloths, and even better, sloths killing people. And hopefully if the sloths are killing twats, that's even better. So yeah, it takes out all the stupid people. Can't be worse than Cocaine Bear. Actually, be careful because I thought Cocaine Bear. I thought that was going to be awesome, and then I heard it was just a great different disappointment that it totally missed the script there. Hypnotic says, "Yeah, the scariest movie is
true.
Real." Yes.
That is true.
Yeah, that's why we don't like real life here.
The scariest movies are on TikTok.
Like gosh.
Yeah. That's where the real scary movies live. They're on TikTok.
Meth Shark is coming.
I never saw Cocaine Bear. I need to go and I need to pull it up if it's on streaming or something. I need to watch it. I never got to see it.
Is Meth Shark a real movie? Because I thought there was meth cocaine, or there was meth gator, but I didn't know if there was a meth shark. Yeah, adulthood is a real horror.
Oh man. Yeah, that's true.
Oh dear. Okay, well, we've been through, I think, every illegal substance with an animal. Well, you know what they, you know what they haven't done yet. And speaking as someone that lives with two sociopaths that are felines, two house cats, imagine if, like, if they did like a heroin kitty cat or something, that would be awful because if they could, they would kill us all the time. And if they actually got like the superpowers, like from cocaine, like they snorted it and all that
Oh,
and went around
no.
with their claws and oh gosh, yeah, that would be terrible. Yeah. we,
Yeah.
yeah, we don't endorse.
I actually had a dream. I don't know why, but for some reason, cats triggered my dream memory. I didn't dream about cats, but I dreamt about a raccoon last night. And it was
Oh.
such a weird dream. It was a raccoon shaped like a. Do you guys have like these weird dreams that make absolutely no sense?
Mhm.
Like the physics in the dream, like the things that you're looking at make absolutely no sense. Last night I had a weird dream about a raccoon that was just staring at me. And I was just like, what are you looking at? I think it's about to attack me. And it stood up and it was like a ball. Like the raccoon, it wasn't like a normal raccoon. It was squatted down and it was in the shape of a ball for whatever reason. When it stood up, it had these long, skinny legs, and it was
Oh,
like, "You have to go under my legs to pass." And I was just like, "This raccoon is blocking my way; it won't let me through." It was the stupidest, weirdest. Just I don't know where it even came from, but
oh my
yeah, it
gosh.
was so ridiculous.
Yeah, it seems like your dream's trying to tell you something, Steph.
I
Cecil
don't know what he's
Assassin.
trying to tell me.
I'm not entirely sure what the meaning of that would be. Well, when you said raccoon, it made me think of the '80s game that we're playing with Mara and Stieg, where we actually had a reanimated rabid raccoon attack us in while I was driving, and I was both of us were trying to shoot it and I kept rolling ones. So I kept missing the rabid raccoon and I shot Mara once. I shot my seed. I shot up my entire van and she was shooting up and then finally we killed it. But it's just interesting when you said about raccoon. I'm like, I've been
I don't
haunted
know.
by
It's such a weird dream. It just came out of nowhere.
yeah. Well, who knows why we dream what we do. I
Yeah.
I always remember the Nightmare on Elm Street. It's like we don't know from where they come or what they are doing. Look who's here! It is Biggles Metz in the office and forgot my headphones. I can't listen. Promise I will rewatch later. Well, thank you, Biggles.
Oh, Biggles
Yeah,
has a. Why do you have a Santa hat on?
he still has it on. When he came on my channel, he still had it on. So I guess he's one of those people. He's so joyful that Christmas is
Oh,
all the time. Yeah,
I can see that. Biggles is
there.
pretty joyful.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, he's probably very happy right now because there is finally going to be a worse Snow White than the one that he feels was in
Oh,
the Once Upon a Time. What do you think about what we've been seeing of this awful Snow White?
it looks terrible.
Yeah.
It looks terrible. I don't know why. I don't know why. Hollywood keeps trying to make Rachel Zegler like the next like it person, the next it girl,
Yeah.
the next big Hollywood actress. And she is so insufferable and so unlikable. The fact that she thinks that she's owed something, you can instantly, immediately see her ego get so big because she's in all of these back-to-back movies that like it's kind of like, girl, okay, look, nobody goes and sees your movie, it's not going to make you any money, and so it doesn't really matter if you're in it. You would be known as the actress who was in flop after flop after flop. You're not owed anything, so you
Hmm.
shouldn't be talking down to the people, potential audience members of your movies. Like, I don't understand why they're trying to make Rachel Zegler the next Hollywood it girl. um
Yeah.
I watched her in West Side Story, and that is probably the only movie that I liked her in. I like that. That was like the only movie. I thought that she had a beautiful voice. She played the part very well. I will always and forever 100% love the original West Side Story movie.
Yeah.
I'm a big theater person, so I will always and forever love the original one. Nothing will ever replace it. But she did play the role of Maria really well. Like, she has a beautiful voice, and I think that the actor that portrayed Tony, they both had like really good chemistry together. So I liked her in that movie. She was terrible in Shazam. Shazam was a flop. It didn't make any money. What else was she in? Now she's going to be in like Woke Snow White. That movie is already going to be terrible because there has been controversy after controversy after controversy surrounding the movie from the dwarf community. I mean, there's controversy coming from the dwarf community, you know, like so you know that movie is not going to do well so far. Like I think ever since The Lion King, Disney's live actions have just been going on a downward track, and this one's going to be terrible. What else has she been in? So Shazam was a flop. This is going to be a flop. Oh, she's going to be in the new Hunger Games movie. I can't remember what it's called.
No.
But she's going to be in the new Hunger Games movie. So she keeps scoring these really big roles. But I honestly believe that she's going to end up just being known as like this actress who just has, you know, flop after flop after flop, because unless she does, I don't know, just some damage control to like clear her image, like, or she has a lot of stands on Twitter, and that's where she, you know, she just stays in her bubble of stands on Twitter. But I think that they're really feeding her ego, and because she's getting so many roles, I think that you can literally see her go from, you know, I'm very grateful to have these roles to I'm owed something because I'm going to be standing 18 hours in an iconic Disney princess dress. I better get paid for every second. You know, you can see the shift in her buying into her celebrity status, and it's becoming very egotistical and really bad. It's just really bad looking.
Yeah, it's an ugly look. And it's interesting what you said about her in West Side Story, because while I would say she has a pleasant voice, she doesn't have the passion and the strength in her voice that
Natalie Wood had.
Well, technically it wasn't Natalie Wood, though. It was, they dubbed her voice, her singing voice. They had a professional singer do it, but what you would even listen to like on the stage version. And even though she's closer in age to what Maria was supposed to have been, it like, again, it was okay, it was adequate, but she's not a star. She doesn't exude that. And I've seen this all over Twitter, that the Snow White, one reason is doomed to fail is that we have to believe that Gal Gadot is jealous of her. I mean,
well, see, I have a theory. I have a theory with that. Okay, I have a theory with that. I think that they are not going to make Gal Gadot jealous of her beauty. There's just no way they can do that. They're not going to make Gal Gadot jealous of her beauty. And another thing is that they're going to make the evil queen a sympathetic villain. That's what they've been doing with all of their villains. They're making them sympathetic villains. Something traumatized them in there, because everybody has to have trauma, right? Mm-hmm. We're not all inherently evil. We all have to have trauma. They're going to make her a sympathetic villain, and Snow White is going to teach her a lesson, and she's not going to be a terrible queen. But I think I also heard that, I can't remember who told me this for the life of me, but she's not going to be like jealous of her beauty. She's going to be jealous of like her leadership or something like that.
Oh my
gosh. So she's not going to be jealous of her beauty. It's going to be like she's jealous of like her way to like lead the people, which is why when she said that the thing in her interview where she learns to like lead a rebellion or lead her people and be true to herself by being fair, brave, and true, something like that. Those are going to be the qualities that the evil queen lacks. So it's not going to be like beauty. It's not going to be beauty, something like that. It's something like that. But they have to, and I believe that, because they have to change it, right? Because now calling a woman beautiful or basing anything on a standard of beauty is taboo, and you can't do that. Because that is bad. You can't say that someone is beautiful and someone else is not. So Disney was not going to do that. So I can see them doing that. I can see that. I can see them doing that, saying like, I'm jealous of her leadership qualities. Why can't I be a leader like her? I can see them doing that as opposed to, you know, I'm jealous of her beauty.
But that brings us to the same problem, though, is that she doesn't, the actress, she does not, playing Snow White, does not have the charisma to, versus her. Like, how can, they have to pull off that we have to believe she's a leader. And that's just ridiculous. This is not the first time that I believe that Once Upon a Time, the TV show that we've talked about it at length, was a dry run for some of these, because of course that was the first one where they had her not being jealous of Snow White's beauty, but rather the fact that Snow White ruined her life. If you've not seen the show, I won't spoil it, because
you should see Once Upon a Time, though, because that is a fantastic show. I love their takes on all, or they were all fresh takes on all of the Disney characters, from Snow White all the way to like Elsa and Anna and Frozen. Like, they had all of the Disney characters in there, including Merida. Even Merida made an appearance. And they did her story. So like, that was a fresh take, and you're absolutely right. You know, it is a dry run for all of these. And I think that Once Upon a Time did it better. I think Once Upon a Time did it 100% better. They did it so much better. They are probably pulling from Once Upon a Time, because if you remember, I mean, you obviously will remember, Snow White in Once Upon a Time was, you know, it wasn't on her beauty, but she was a leader. Like, she was more of a leader than Prince Charming was. She gave all of the motivational speeches, but it worked in that show. It made sense in that show. As opposed to like this movie that's going to completely change the story of Snow White, because it's supposed to be a live action adaptation of their animated movie. So you shouldn't change it. If you're going to change it, then it's not a live action adaptation. It changes it. You know, Once Upon a Time got away with it because it's an original idea. You know, what if fairy tale characters existed in our world? Like, that was an original idea. So, and it was a neat idea. I loved that show. It was so good.
Well, and Jennifer Goodwin also had the charisma to be able to pull that off. And she wasn't that young. She was in her 30s.
And she was very pale with black hair. She was actually Snow White. Like, you know, so
well, you see, and that just invites the whole, that's where sometimes I think they're almost trolling people, because they say, why do you all care that, you know, about these race changes? But then they do something this blatant and take Snow White and make her white. It's like the jokes are writing themselves, people.
Well, they also say, why do you care? Why do you care about the race changes? But then they turn around and they attack actual, like on the Lilo and Stitch casting, they go and attack these people that are Native Hawaiians who meet the standards, but they're not dark enough. And they claim that, you know, it was the Nani and David characters that, especially Nani, that her like heritage or something like that plays a role in the Lilo and Stitch movie, when it didn't. It wasn't about that. Like, there was nothing in there that's about like her heritage in the Lilo and Stitch movie. She's just a Hawaiian. It's a family movie. It's about two sisters going through something and getting close as a broken family and taking in this alien. Like, there's I don't think that there's anything in there about like, no, you don't understand. Like, her dark skin is part of her character in the movie. No, she's just dark skinned because she's, you know, a Hawaiian, and they got a Native Hawaiian to play Nani. So, but yet these people will celebrate the recasting of like Ariel or a recasting of Snow White, and say that, you know, it's needed. But then again, they will get mad at someone being an actual Native Hawaiian and tear her down for not being dark enough. I mean, the hypocrisy is incredible.
Yeah, and they can't win, and that's the other thing, because once you start going down that path, it'll never be good enough.
No, and that's why you don't cater to these types of people, because one, it'll never be good enough. It's like if you give a mouse a cookie, right? It's like that stupid book If you give a mouse a cookie, they're going to want like a glass of milk. You give them a glass of milk, they're going to want more. They're going to want more. It is never going to be enough. And you're never going to satisfy everybody, especially in that crowd. You're never going to satisfy everybody. So you might as well just adapt a movie to live action how it's supposed to be. Like,
precisely.
Just adapt it. If you're going to adapt it, just adapt it naturally. One, it'll do really well because you'll get like the millennials, right? Because that's the people that they're targeting. Let's be honest, they're targeting the millennials because millennials are huge on nostalgia. They're huge on. I'm a millennial, so I know this. Like, they're huge on nostalgia. They're, we have our own money, so we can go and spend it on whatever we want. And a lot of people are going and spending it on things that they never could get when they were kids. So we're all about like reliving our childhood and everything. We have a lot of money, but we're not going to go and spend it on shit that's not going to remind us of our childhood.
Exactly. And ones that sit around and criticize us. It's like, yeah, I'm going to go pay for a sermon. No, no, thank you. Solsassim does make a good point, though. He says that if they actually truly adapt a straight version from the Grimm brothers version of Snow White, well, and I would say of any of these fairy tales, that would be wild. Can you imagine them doing the Cinderella where they're chopping off the toes?
They're chopping off the foot?
Yeah, the ankles. Yeah, and the blood's flying everywhere. And that's how they realize that they're fakers because they're bleeding to death. And the stepmother who tap dances herself to death. That's just some good stuff right there.
Yeah.
And of course, speaking which, you alluded to it earlier, this from Luffy's God about Peter Dinklage and how popular he is in the community now. Yeah, after he costs them all their jobs.
He's that dude's an asshole. Like, you can tell. You can tell that guy's an asshole, and he's almost what's the word I'm looking for? He's gatekeeping. He's gatekeeping dwarf parts for himself, and I feel like that's why, like, he said that, so that way, if they needed a that's what I feel. That's how I feel. He put that out there to gatekeep dwarf characters, or to gatekeep dwarf parts, so that way, if a dwarf part came up and they needed a dwarf actor in a big budget film or something, they can call in Peter Dinklage and offer him the role.
Jealousy.
Because he's like, no. Look, we are so woke. Peter Dinklage, will you take this role for us? Or if there's an acting part that doesn't really call for a dwarf character, they will just give it to him so they can prove that they are not, I don't know what you call anti-dwarf or something, anti-little person. Yeah. And they'll just give it to him. And the fact that he made the statement of like, have I not like been on my soapbox and done anything for dwarf actors? It's like, excuse me, sir.
Yeah, it's like,
who do you think you are? For you. Nobody asked you to get up on a soapbox. Okay, you can step right down right now. Who do you think you are?
That's why I was so happy when the Cyrano de Bergerac movie that he did, it flopped, and it's like, it's no one.
I was happy when other dwarf actors called him out.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah, when other dwarf actors called him out, because a lot of the dwarf actors, some of them grow up and become an actor and think that, hey, my dream role would be to play a dwarf in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, or an Oompa Loompa in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or a one of the cast members in the Wizard of Oz, in Munchkin in Munchkinland. Like, those would be roles. I mean, Wicked is coming up. Like, the movie Wicked is about to come out, and I don't know if they're going to have Munchkins in Munchkinland, but those are some of those roles are dream roles for little people. And because like when I would watch, I would watch tons of behind the scenes of like movies on DVDs and stuff like that, and Blu-rays. I would always watch like the behind the scenes features or whatever, featurettes, and a lot of documentaries. And in a lot of these documentaries, like a lot of these dwarf actors would say like, yeah, I grew up with like watching this movie, and I've always wanted to be, you know, there's not a lot of roles for little people, so some dream roles are this and some dream roles are that. And they mention Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, they mention Munchkin in The Wizard of Oz, you know. So those roles are some are dream roles for some dwarfs, you know, for some little people. And I think that he's just taking that away from them. And I'm glad that they spoke out about it and called him out on it, because that's ridiculous.
Yeah, Dylan Hornswoggle had some choice words about Dinklage. And is he
yeah,
the one that plays the wrestler, the Leprechaun? Am I thinking of that? Like, there's a character. If I'm, I don't know
I
if I'm
think
wrong
he's
about that.
on. Hold on, let me double check. But I think.
No. Yeah.
I
If
think
I'm
he's
wrong, I apologize.
the. Yes, he's the wrestler.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
think I saw that interview.
Yeah.
Yes, Archer, I agree. Yeah. Well, money is not what they want to make for several stuff. Steve says behind the scenes stuff will vanish if they get rid of the physical media. In my opinion, the best part of DVDs and Blu-rays is the bonus
It
material.
is 100%. It is. I love the bonus material. I love the bonus material. Sometimes if I've already seen the movie, I will just put in the Blu-ray just to watch the bonus material. I love all the bonus material behind the scenes.
And as they continue to do digital book burning, that's the way to make sure that you actually have the original work without it being tampered with. Yeah. Well, one thing that struck me about that fake photo, or it wasn't the fake photo, it turned out it was a real photo that we got of behind the scenes of the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, was how much everyone just assumed, obviously, this isn't real. And I was even one of those. I was like, yeah, this is a fake picture. Now, we do know that they were stand-ins, not the ones, because it was so bad. It's like, no, that's not authentic at all. But apparently it was the same costumes and the same looks. So that really was a true preview of what we're supposed to see.
And it looks so cheap. Doesn't it look so cheap?
Yeah. It looked like, I mean, I've seen Halloween costumes better than that.
Yeah, I almost can't believe that these movies have such bloated budgets and they look so cheap. I think that that's one of my criticisms for the Aladdin movie. Okay, that was one, because the Aladdin movie was fine. You know, it was all right. I think that Will Smith as a genie, though, it really rubbed me the wrong way. But I liked the actor and actress that they had play Aladdin and Jasmine. I really like those actresses. They're actors. They're really good. But my one criticism of that movie is that everything looked so clean. Like, even in the animated movie, you know, you could tell, like, this is a world that's been lived in. This is a world that's kind of dirty. He's a street rat. Like, everything was just so bright and colorful in the Aladdin movie. And I'm just like, I don't know. It doesn't look lived in. It looks like I'm watching a Broadway play, but this is a feature film. You know, it shouldn't look like I'm watching a Broadway play. It should look like a feature film. The world should look lived in. It shouldn't look as polished as it was, especially like when you're, especially like with Aladdin. Like, he should look like a street rat. He should be a little dirty, a little dingy, but he wasn't. He was like perfect. I was like, how are you so perfect? But that was my one major thing. And I don't understand how, when I looked at like those photos, I was like, man, nothing looks like it looks like, oh, I need a patchwork dress for like my high school musical play. I need a patchwork jacket, and your mom just like took a jacket that you had in your closet and like just, I don't know, glued or stitched some patches on it. It didn't look like it came from a professional costume department. You know, it looks so bad.
Yeah, and I've directed middle school plays with better costume departments. I mean, with higher quality, like made by moms. And yeah, a lot of people are saying, well, it was a Party City, a Portland Ren Fair, D&D LARPers.
Yeah. Now, I did hear that the photo that leaked, like, those are, I think, like, they're actual people in the movie. They're not stand-ins. Well, like the Snow White was, but some of them weren't stand-ins. They're actual. They're this separate. They're this separate faction in the movie. They're like
Oh.
rebels. It's like a team of rebels. They're not the dwarves. I don't think that the dwarf casting has been released yet because it came out that let me pull it up. I have to pull it up. This dwarf actor was cast as Grumpy, and he was not in that photo. Hold on, let me find it.
Okay.
But that casting hasn't been announced. It's not going to be announced until Disney is ready, probably closer to the movie release. But that's what I heard, and so it kind of makes sense, especially since they got back, especially since Peter Dinklage caused that backlash. It would make sense that they would hide the dwarf actors who are playing the seven dwarves, because I did hear. Hold on, let me find it.
Yeah,
I did see an article. Let me find it.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing. Peter Dinklage also, in a way, put a target on anyone's back who actually was going to play them, whether they be a little person or whether it be somebody else, and then it's some form of appropriation.
Yeah, here we go. Here, I'll share my screen really quickly. It was this actor, Martin Kleba.
Okay.
It was this actor. It was Martin Kleba who came out and it was reported that he took the role of Grumpy. And if you look right here, Snow White. He's in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. He's in Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, and he was not in that photo.
Okay, and it wasn't supposed to be a stand-in for his character because there was. Okay, all right. Well,
yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. We
it
mentioned
wasn't
that.
a stand-in. I guess like it was like a separate faction of like the movie where they're like the rebels or something like that. But yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, and they're talking about a mix of Snow White and the Merry Men, Robin or the Merry Men rather. Snow White and the Merry Men. That's not kind of what they're doing, and they probably had to do reshoots, and if she's a rebel,
unless they're taking the dwarves out, and that's what these reshoots are, then I don't know. But I don't know.
It's like they're slowly erasing everything that it's going to be, because didn't we hear that it wasn't even about true love and true love's kiss? It's like, what?
Like he was supposed to be playing Grumpy. I think there was an article about that too. Let me see. Grumpy.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, we don't know, Archer. I mean, this is all speculation, because, of course, Disney, speaking of misinformation, Disney put out some misinformation at first.
There was an article in Collider. Snow White cast Martin Kleba as Grumpy. It was in Collider. Like,
okay, well, we know he's cast, but well, and I guess we have yet to see about the whole stand-ins and the spin, but either way, this whole idea that they're going to be rebels and they're saying, and then Snow White being a leader, it's just going to be...
that would make sense if there is a rebel faction to go against the evil queen, and she's a better leader, and that's why she's jealous of her. Blah. Blah. It doesn't sound like Snow White. I hate it.
Yeah, I agree. Steke's like she's even more unlikable than Brie Larson, and I would say that because Brie Larson has, I'll throw her some bones. She does have some charisma in her acting and stuff, and she's a lovely lady. This little girl, she's acting too big for her britches. She hasn't been around long enough to be having this kind of an attitude,
this ego that she has.
Especially as you've said, she's not even really had any hits, because West Side Story was not a commercial success at all.
No, it wasn't.
I'm trying to think of anything
she's
that
had
was.
flop after flop after flop. She's just getting work. And I think she came out and said that she took Shazam, the role in Shazam. She took that because she just needed work. She didn't really care about the movie. She just needed a job.
Yeah. And of course, who knows what people are going to be getting from now. Oh, Archer calling Snow White and the Seven Resistance Leaders. Oh, goodness. Yes. The Eagle Record career. Yeah. And because I've always said that it doesn't matter who you are unless you're maybe like Lady Gaga or something. If you are hard to work with, if you've got a bad attitude, they won't want to work with you. It really doesn't work. Yeah,
well, I don't think she has a bad attitude in the eyes of the public because she seems so entitled. But in the eyes of Hollywood, that's a different story. She's like, you're speaking all the right. It's like you're speaking all the right talking points. You have the perfect talking points. You have the perfect like look of what the diversity thing that we're looking for. It's perfect, but like to the public, it's like, dude, you're so insufferable. Like, get out of here. I don't like you.
Who do you think you are?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. But well, I'll tell you what is Bree seems to be the huge PR team. Steve, you opened up a little bit of Bree brought up the Bree word. New PR team because she's staying away from the politically charged topics until Sam Jackson threw her up on the bus with the Trump broker comment. Yeah, well, you know what? Actually, I think she hasn't really been in the news, has she, with that kind of thing?
No, she's sort of like stayed away.
Mm-hmm.
She's been pretty quiet.
Yeah, which I don't blame her, to be honest. It's some of the things that she had said long before the Captain Marvel situation.
Yeah, it was long before Captain Marvel. She took up the politically, I guess, acceptable talking points at the time. But I mean, she also kind of had a leg to stand on. And that's where I think that Rachel Zegler doesn't. I mean, Brie Larson is an Academy Award winner, and she was in a great movie. I absolutely love that movie that she was in. I think it was called The Room. It was such a great movie, and she literally carried that movie because it was all her. It was a great story. It was a great movie. I loved it. It was so good, and she was phenomenal in it. But it was her personality that needed work, and if that's how she is in real life, I mean, that kind of sucks. But I think that now she's sort of like taking a step back, and because she has to do damage control or so much damage control, especially like when they were promoting Endgame, you could tell that there were just actors who did not like to be around her, like Chris Hemsworth, the guy that plays Rhodey, I can't remember his name.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Jeremy Renner. Like you could tell that they were uncomfortable. Like, why? Oh man, I'm partnered with her in the interview. Okay, you could totally tell that she made them feel uncomfortable because like her personality sucks. And I think that Rachel Zegler, her personality is terrible as well. She's not a likable person, but she doesn't have that, Oscar to stand on.
Yeah.
She's just beginning her career, and she is killing it.
Yeah.
She's killing her career one interview at a time.
Precisely, and that's a really good point. Stig, though, has the scoop. Brie Larson has been quiet ever since Lether told her he wanted to bang her. That's the real reason.
She got shy.
Yeah, but no, but that's all a very good point. Well, I think we've all seen those interviews, the body language of all of them. And remember, what was it? The guy who played, oh gosh, I forget his name. The other Iron Man, the guy in the suit, Warhammer. Was it Warhammer? No, wait, Warhammer's name of the game.
Yeah,
War Machine.
It was War Machine.
Is it War Machine? Oh my gosh, I am not
Rhodey.
a total Marvel person.
Rhodey, I can't remember his name.
Okay, but yeah, he literally said, "Don't touch me" or something. Like,
he's like, "Don't touch me," because she was trying to be playful, with him, and he was just like, "Don't touch me." You can tell that Don Cheadle, that's his name. Thank you. Yes, Don Cheadle. You could tell. And like Chris Hemsworth is one of the most likable actors. He was making a joke with her about like, what are you, the next Tom Cruise? You could totally tell like that's how you joke around with people. And she got upset, I'm gonna be the next me. Thank you very much. Like, but he was just joking with her and she took it seriously.
Yeah, there was obvious tension there. Yeah, and maybe she did start to come across reality. I've been noticing she's doing convention appearances. So, that's really? Also good as well. Yeah, she charges about $200, $250 for an autograph, and they sold out. So, I mean, obviously she has a fan. And I know a lot of actors who have, when they started doing convention scenes and stuff and actually meet the fans, that helps. That helps a lot with them, touching base with who they are, maybe getting out of that bubble.
That's another probably PR stunt for her, honestly.
Possibly.
Like you need to go down there with the people. You need to show them that you're likable.
Yeah. Well, then she's getting good advice.
They do money. That, or they do appearances, kind of like what's his name? What is his name? The guy that played Shazam. Why can't I think of it? He did conventions before the Shazam 2 came out as like promotion. So that might be her promotion for the Marvels movie.
Oh, but there you go. Okay. Yeah. Well, and she's making money. That's from my time in work in Once Upon a Time, and
Zachary Levi.
Zachary Levi, yeah. That's where a lot of actors make the majority of their money is by convention appearances, because most actors can't command the kind of salaries that other people do. Make a photo with Ryan Kendall with her. Well, I don't know. Maybe he would pay $250.
Like,
but
my memeing days are behind me. I just don't have the time.
Yeah, well, there you go. Everybody Photoshop. Yes. Oh, dear me. Well, as we're getting close to the end of the hour, we actually didn't talk about the two biggest ones, the Barbieheimer. I know that you have seen both of them. I didn't know if you had anything to say about either or both.
Oppenheimer was fantastic. But I know that a lot of people like have a problem with Oppenheimer because they want to show, like, they want to see the bomb, right? They want to see the bomb fall on Japan. They want to see the devastation that it caused. But the movie is not called that. If you want to see that, then go watch, a history documentary. But the movie's called Oppenheimer. Is about that main character, and I absolutely love it. But I also love documentaries, and I love docuseries, and I love watching history documentaries, and this one was just about him and his life. I think some people had problems with the sex scenes. I didn't. I thought they were necessary. It's part of his past, and we need to be shown that. And also those sex scenes make sense when it comes to the end and you find out what happens to like that relationship and that girl. But I loved the movie. I thought it was incredible. And it just makes me want to watch even more documentaries about Oppenheimer and learn a little bit more about his life. So if anything, that movie kind of, makes you want to learn even more.
Yeah. Well, and that is a positive thing about all history docu films, even when they're not necessarily well done. Though I do get annoyed when they take blatant liberties with real life people, and then I have to sit and answer questions about, well, but didn't this happen? It's like, no, that was a movie.
I think a good example of that is The Greatest Showman. Where they did a Barnum. Yeah. Barnum Bailey, like that's a good example of that, because I think that like they had like some family come out about this singer that he went on tour with, say that like they never had a relationship, she never kissed him, she never like wanted to get involved with him. So they took a lot of liberties. I think that like Barnum was also very abusive to the animals that he had in his circus. And in the movie, they made it sound like I'm worried about my animals. Where are they? Are they okay? Like so it portrayed him in a different light. It was definitely not. They took a ton of liberties in that movie, but I love the music in that movie. The music is great.
Yeah, entertaining. And Steve, no, I am not reading that comment aloud. There are some. He's trying to get my channel bombed. Oh wait, literal. I don't know if you saw what he. Oh gosh, y'all are terrible. But yes, yeah, they're saying Abraham Lincoln totally killed vampires. Just don't mention Braveheart.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh dear. Yeah.
I don't think it was too talky. It's too talky. I don't think it was too talky. I liked it, but I also love watching documentaries and docuseries and history stuff. Funnily enough, I hated history like when I was in school. Yeah, that was my least favorite subject. I hated it. I was total like math and science geek. Like I loved those subjects. I did not like history. And now that I'm an adult, I've kind of grown to like love history, and I love watching a lot of stuff like that. Now the Barbie movie, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't incredible either. It was very mid to me. It was very mid. I liked some parts of the movie. I saw a lot of potential with the movie. I just did not like the message it sent. Like, to me, if you're going into this movie, like, okay, here's the thing. If you're going to go and watch this movie with your boyfriend, right? If you're going to have a date night, let's go see a chick flick, right? That's pretty much like, you're either going to go and watch this movie with your girl, or you're going to go and watch a chick flick with your boyfriend, right? You're going to drag him to the movie. You made me watch the superhero movie. I'm going to make you watch Barbie, right?
Yeah.
So I think that chick flicks should make you feel a little bit better about yourself, maybe appreciate your partner a little bit. It should not lead to a battle of the sexes argument on your ride home. And I feel like if you go and watch Barbie, like that's what it'll lead to. And I see a lot of reels on Instagram because like I've been like, I love I love Ken in the movie, like his songs. And I like the first half of, well, not the first half, like maybe the first, I don't know, before she goes into the real world, okay, when they're in Barbie land at the beginning. I love that part because that, like, I played with Barbies as a child. I had a ton of them. And the way they depicted everything in Barbie land it's just like you're playing with Barbies, you know,
including Weird Barbie,
including Weird Barbie. Yes, including Weird Barbie.
Crayons all over.
I liked the subtle nods to toy history, to the Barbie toy history.
Yes.
In the movie. There are some people that I don't agree with, like, you know, Ben Shapiro, how he says that the movie is anti-motherhood. I don't think so. It is not. When he says that, like, at the very beginning of the movie, little girls are like smashing their baby dolls. It's not true. It's not anti-motherhood. In fact, I actually like the story of the mom and the daughter and getting closer, and Barbie bringing them closer when they go to Barbie Land. Like that's a great movie, or that's a great, you know, little storyline there. It's not anti-motherhood. That's actually just toy history. That's what they're talking about. If you watch, what is it? The Toys That Made Us. If you watch The Toys That Made Us, they have Barbie in that. They have a whole episode of Barbie. And, you know, before Barbie came along, all little girls had to play with was baby dolls and, you know, little strollers for the baby dolls and little high chairs for the baby dolls. And the little, whoops, hold on. Sorry, that was my watch. And before Barbie came along, that's all you had. So like once you reach a certain age as a little girl, you're just like, what else is there for me to play with? And they came out with, like, I think that they had like these little paper dolls for girls, and the paper dolls, like, you can change the clothes on the paper dolls, but that's all they had for little girls of like a certain age, like between like 8 and 12, like this prime Barbie, you know, age. Or 6 and 12, whatever, like that's when you play with Barbies, because you're too old for baby dolls, but you're too young for anything else, you know? And that's why it shows. And if you look at the girls in that segment of the movie, they are around that age. They're between the ages of like 6 and, I don't know, 11 years old, you know? And they're like, this is boring. I've been playing with Barbie dolls for years, or Barbie dolls. I've been playing with baby dolls for years. Like, there's only so much you can do. And then they smash their baby dolls and they start playing with Barbie. And what's awesome about Barbie is that she looks like you want to look when you get older. She's kind of like you when girls play with toys, it's very different than when boys play with toys. You know, girls will say like, this is me as a Barbie. You know, they will you know, put themselves in the role of Barbie. Like, I am Barbie. This is me. And I'm going to play with it as if I'm an adult. You know, this is me as an adult, and I'm going to play with this Barbie this way. So that's how I took that opening scene of Barbie. It wasn't anti-motherhood. You know, it was just a little bit of toy history. And then the way that, like, they shamed the midge Barbie, where like she's always pregnant, she never has this baby. There was a doll that came out like that, and parents got upset about this doll because they thought that it promoted teen pregnancy.
Yeah.
So the doll got pulled. You know, that's why there's that running joke throughout the movie about like this doll that's constantly pregnant.
Yeah,
and the ones anti-motherhood. It's just toy history.
Yeah, well, and also I think the scene makes it pretty clear that it opened up the possibility of new kinds of dolls, as you said, for girls. and it was a spoof of the 2001 with the monkeys all going crazy and hitting the bones. They lost their minds when they saw Barbie, and I think that is where there might be a little bit of a disconnect between women watching this and guys watching it, because
Right.
I completely got it, and frankly, I thought it was hilarious, because that's exactly how I was with my baby dolls. And trust me, I am the most pro mother, person you can get
Yeah.
out there, and it's just like, no, it's like that's how you were. And now there was many things to criticize about the movie, that I thought that it was it had this very monolithic kind of attitude, like all women are like this is what all women want, and they even threw in some real world political comments that I'm like, well, actually no, you're not making your point, that's just stupid. But some references to some Supreme Court decisions, and and then the whole idea about, oh, smile at me. They had those scenes where everyone's asking Barbie to smile at them.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a thing. I don't know. I have never known anybody, and including I've never had anyone just look at me, a man, and tell me to smile more. First of all, insults. If men are being insulting to women, they're not that obvious. But maybe you have been told to smile. But I just thought, oh, really? Come on. It was
Yeah,
very
all of
pedantic, I
the
thought.
when she walked up to like the construction site, like every single man that she sees, she feels threatened by, and it's almost like an undertone of violence is what she says in the movie.
Oh,
Uh
yeah, that made me mad.
it's an undertone of violence, and this one person slaps her on the butt and she
Yeah.
punches them, but she gets arrested. I was like, shouldn't it be the guy that gets arrested? He's the one that slapped her first, but no, she gets arrested. So it was like I said, like everything before she went into the real world, I loved. It's like I'm watching these people like act how I would play with Barbies when I was younger. It was great. And that's why I'd say like it had so much potential, if not for the messaging. I didn't like the
Yeah.
messaging. I didn't like that.
Yeah. But
But I didn't
I
like
didn't
how
like
things were depicted. I don't think it was satire. And here's why I don't think it was
no.
satire. A lot of people are like, oh, it's just satire. They're
No, it's not.
making fun. It's just an elaborate version of this and whatever. And this is why it's because like the director came out and said, that the marketing left out all of that feminist agenda that was like pushed throughout the movie. And the director came out and said, like, yeah, we left it out. Why would you leave it out? Why? Because you wanted your movie to do well, and I
Yeah.
get that. And I get that, Barbie is like this feminist icon, and she is one of the first real like doll and toy that girls had, where you could literally be anything. You could be a veterinarian, a doctor, a pilot, and anything. Like there
Yeah.
was a
An
Barbie
astronaut.
for every single career. And
Yes.
what they could have done, was show more than one woman, because the only woman that they showed that like loved Barbie and that Barbie had a positive impact on her was the mom. That was the only person that they showed. That's the only woman in the movie that they showed had that Barbie had a positive impact on her life. And what kind of what are you saying? What kind of message are you sending when you have this whole line of Mattel toys? All of these Barbies came out and you only show one woman who loved Barbie growing up and you impacted her own life. You could have had they could have shown that Barbie, yeah, you know what? I played with a veterinarian Barbie growing up and I became a vet. You inspired, that's why I say that the movie had so much potential, because you could have shown all of these women. You could have actually fixed the damage, I guess, the whatever damage that like the little girl spewed at Barbie when she was just like, you have all of these, like, you make girls feel bad about themselves by having, impossible standards, body standards, and you push the feminist movement back. Like you could have actually like shown that no, maybe there are a lot more women other than this one mom, who first off called herself like super boring, and I'm just a boring mom. My life sucks. I have no personality. I'm just a mom. You could have shown women who maybe did play with Barbies and maybe did have, show a doctor. Well, they had a woman doctor in the movie. It could have been something like, oh my God, I used to play with Dr. Barbie growing up.
Yeah.
Something like that. But instead it was just, I just didn't like all of the stuff in the real world. I didn't. Now, I did love Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, his character was great.
Ryan Gosling was fantastic. I am not a huge Ryan Gosling fan. All of that hey girl, those hey girl memes.
Mm-hmm.
I never got into it. I never thought that Ryan Gosling was like a super attractive actor. I think that he's a great actor, but I never really found him attractive until this movie.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was like, he's so amazing. I love him in this movie. It's so great. He made me laugh. He had a little musical number. Like, I really loved him in this movie. I want a Ken movie now. Like, give me a Ken movie. I feel bad that I feel bad now that I only had one Ken doll. Like that he makes me feel terrible that I only had one Ken doll and I had like 20 Barbies.
Well, of course, because Barbie was our self-insert. That's part of the way the difference between girls, the way we play, and we wanted to dress them up. I thought one of the most positive parts about the Barbie movie that I'm not sure was entirely intentional on their part was when they showed how in this woman's world it was so pro women that it was bashing men, and that and finally Barbie's like, yeah, you're right, we belittled you, you know how awful. He's like, you're making us feel like crap, and I was just nobody, and she did apologize to him for that.
Yeah,
but
that was the major sin in the movie, honestly, in my opinion. And I've heard other people say this too. That was the major sin, that we the only reason we bought a Ken doll was because Ken is Barbie's boyfriend. They introduced there was a demand for Barbie to have a boyfriend, and they brought in Ken, and so little girls wanted a Ken doll, and Ken was Barbie's boyfriend, but they had to give Barbie agency. Maybe at the beginning of the movie, they could have had her be boyfriend girlfriend. Like, they could have shown her respect him. There's nothing wrong with showing like the Kens and their Barbies, or Barbies and their Kens, having a relationship. There's nothing wrong, because that's how we played with them as kids. Mm-hmm. Barbie had her boyfriend, and her boyfriend was Ken. I think that's one of the bigger sins in the movie, is that they made Barbie treat Ken like he was an inconvenience. Mm-hmm. And they could have done it. They could have done the same thing if they wanted to. If they wanted Barbie to have her own agency and go off in the real world without Ken, they could have done that. They could have done the same thing, but maybe just start them off as Barbie and Ken. Start them off as Barbie and Ken. But they didn't. They didn't do that. They should have, but they didn't. And I think that Barbie apologized to Ken, so they have that in the movie. But then, in, I don't know, is it like the next scene where they have the Kens groveling to Madam President about, please, can you give us a role in the Supreme Court, Justice? And she's like, no, that's not happening. And then they have to settle for a lower circuit judge position or something. They're like, we'll take it. And then they have the voiceover saying now the Kens will have as much power in Barbie Land as actual women do in the real world.
Yeah, that annoyed the hell out of me. Yeah, you see, so that ruined any good point.
That's why I say there's so much there's different messaging. What do you really want to?
What do you want to say? Yeah,
what do you want to say?
Cognitive dissonance. That's going to be the name of my review when I do a video. It's going to be called Cognitive Dissonance, because that's what the whole movie was too. And that the therefore, what I always called the therefore of the theme, it wasn't clear and coherent, because I'm not even sure that the writers know this kind of topic, because they're in such a bubble that they don't know what the real world's like. Someone said in the chat that the way that the real world is portrayed in the movie is the way the Hollywood people actually think the real world is, and that's why we're all like, that's ridiculous. That's not the way women are are treated, and it's like maybe Hollywood is still like
I
that.
know, maybe it's like that in Hollywood, but like
not
you
in
go
the
out
real
there in the
world.
real world. No, it's not like that at all.
Oh yeah. Oh, speaking of which, and if Barbie world's so perfect, why do we need courts? Oh yeah, and that was the other thing, that the men were gonna vote to change the Constitution, and it's like that was just ridiculous, because has the fallacy that it's the government that gives power. It was just,
and if there is a government that gives power, then all of these women were taking away and actively voting for the men to have fewer rights. Like, how is that just?
It's not. And so
it should have been Barbies and their Kens, and everything is perfect in Barbie land. Maybe the Kens go off somewhere. Barbies have their dream houses, because let's be fair, when we play with Barbie, when we were younger and we had our dream houses, we did not include Ken when we were putting our Barbies to sleep. Ken would go in the toy box, or Ken would go on the floor, or Ken would be in the car, or something like that. But the Barbie dream houses came with a single bed. Every single one had a single bed. Maybe Ken, we put Ken on the couch, like, to watch TV at night or something. But like, the Barbie dream houses came with a single bed. So Barbie slept by herself, and Ken went in the Barbie car, or he went in the toy box. Like, that's where Ken was. That's why I thought it was so funny when they asked her, like, where did the Ken sleep? And she's like, I don't know, because they don't know. We're in our Barbie dream houses. That was like a nice, like, oh yeah, that's true. Like, they wouldn't know. Little girls put them in the toy boxes. But what it should have been was like this utopia of, like, these lovebirds, and there's nothing wrong with their relationship. And maybe Barbie, when she starts to what did the little girl call it? Shine. When she starts to shine, maybe she realizes, like, everything is so monotonous in this relationship. We do the same thing every day. And that maybe that's why she starts to, like, want to go into the real world or something like that. You know what I mean? It could have shown, like, this utopia of, like, of men and women who are, like, equal and have no qualms, no arguments, nothing. Everything is perfect. But they didn't do that, and that's just so stupid.
Yeah. I don't know if they returned to the status quo in the end. That things did change, and of course,
they didn't return to the status quo. No, they didn't.
Yeah. So, and of course, Steve. Well, okay, I will read this one. Steve, Ken has no penis, hence why he's not needed in Barbie's bed. Duh. Okay.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
They say that in the movie. She's like, we do not have genitals. I hate the way the movie ended. That reminds me. It ends with her going to the gynecologist. Like, get out of here.
I think that they were trying to say, well, this is reality, which I don't know. Yeah, it was weird.
Know, it's so stupid. I was like, why? And another, why do you have such a big smile on your face when you're going to the gynecologist?
Yeah, no one does.
No one has a big smile on their face when they're going to the gynecologist.
Quite the contrary. Yeah, and unfortunately, though, the characters in the real world, the family did have an intact family. They did make the man an object of ridicule. And again, that's the things that I'm like, are y'all not even listening to your own message? Because they were making fun of the dad with his pronunciation. And I just remember thinking, come on, did you really have to be that way?
It's like, yeah, and they're kind of like, dad he won't notice that we're gone or whatever. I'm trying to see something in the Barbie movie. There was something that really bothered me, but I need to find the actor who played him. If I can find it.
Okay. Was it the bar? Well, I'll just wait until you get there, because hence the court thing. Well, no, I mean, they were just trying to throw in, I think, a gratuitous point about the court thing, because part of it was that we're finally starting to recognize you. Because before they completely ignored the Kens, and that's what they were like, we'll be baby steps like the real world. And it's like, oh, shut up. Hello, Jock Nerdy. Everyone's saying hello. And yeah, I actually liked the whole Knuff thing, because I'm like, dude, what are you doing being around a woman? Yeah, it's like, yeah, you don't need Barbie. It's like, why would you want to be around a woman that treats you like garbage? Have some dignity. and the fact that he was so attracted to trucks, it's like, yeah, they weren't allowing him to be a boy, a real boy in Barbie Land. It's like they need to play with trucks and things that smash. It's just something they need. And they need Sylvester Stallone and Rambo and Rocky. So, yes, yay. Everyone's saying hello to each other.
But yeah, I didn't like, I don't know. I didn't really like, I mean, I liked it. I didn't hate it as much as a lot of people did. Like I actually watched Ben Shapiro's like 2-hour review or however long it was.
Oh gosh.
I actually watched that. And I didn't agree with him on a lot of stuff about the Barbie movie. So I didn't hate it, but I also didn't love it.
Yeah, I think it wasn't a great movie. Again, it was too uneven, but it was nice to see something at least original that was messing with stuff and not taking other IPs and destroying them.
Yeah. At the very least, it was an original movie. I just I like to say that, like, to some women, this will be their, like, oh, how dare you take my favorite thing and turn it into some feminist propaganda. I can see that.
Yeah, that's fair.
That.
But it kind of has been a feminist thing, actually, Barbie, and it wasn't only till relatively recently that it's like, oh no, because people just have to have a perspective, in my humble opinion, I'm talking in general, about history, time, and the times that people are living in. And like Barbie was incredibly progressive when she came out in the 50s. And did Greta set out to make one film with a message but have to send out another? No, I think her message was still out there. I do not think that she, I think her outlook really was reflected in a lot of those offhand comments and some of those jabs that were just really annoying. Yes. And of course, everyone's going to get different things out of the same films. But at least I felt like we've been having some original films. It seems like ever since Movid, everything's been off. Everything's been wrong. Everything's been less interesting. And at least, I mean, this is the first time I've been to the cinema in more than a year since Maverick. So, yes. So, yeah, Greta Gerwig. She's also very uneven in general with her works. Maybe she's still trying to figure out what she wants her message to be.
Yeah. All right. I can't find I don't want to say what I think because I think that this is a child, and I don't want to throw it out there. I'll tell you when the stream is over.
Oh, okay, fair enough. That is completely fair. People are giving her way too much credit. Yeah. But I think that she's someone that we need to pay attention to, especially since she's going to be messing around with the Narnia things.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah. There seems to be very little originality. Correct. Yeah, the Meg 2 should be fine. Yes, if you weren't here earlier, when Steph was saying she's going to be watching it tonight, and Trey Courtney endorses it. Okay. Yeah. Well, there we go. We're about ready to go into our pub game part of the evening or day, depending on where you live. And
I told Teresa, I told her, I was like, just hit me with all of them. Let's go.
Well, not all of them, only 7. That's the rules. And everyone that is in the chat, please. I agree. I encourage you to also participate and roll a d20 7 times, and I'll try to keep track of them because sometimes I forget how many times I do roll for them. Hello, great to see you all. Here we go. Roll number 1. Okay. Steph, what's the most annoying question you've ever been asked?
Oh, the most annoying question I don't know. I don't think I've ever been asked an annoying question before.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, then you're a very lucky person.
I don't think I've ever been asked an annoying question.
Yeah.
I don't know. The only thing that comes to mind is like, where in Texas do you live? That's probably it, because I think that some things need to be private, but I think some people figured it out, so it's not a big deal. But
yeah, it's like none of your business. I always questions that are like about my future, like when are you going to get a job? When are you going to get a better job? When it's like, hey, why don't you worry about your own life?
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, Steve says Teresa shot. Yes, we talked about it. I shot Mara with a Magnum 44 in D&D, and it was the die that did it. That is correct. Okay. Yeah, so
shot my Mara.
Yeah, well, and I guess maybe what I'm hearing underneath that question is, don't ask me questions I can't answer.
Yeah.
It's like, what's your social security number? I'm not going to tell you. Oh dear. Okay. Roll number 2. Oh, what are your pronouns?
That would be one. There you go.
Yeah. What is your all-time favorite movie and why?
Ooh, that would be Grease. It's always Grease. That I think that movie kind of started off my love of musicals. My mom, I found it like it was like a VHS, and it was my mom's VHS, and I put it in when I was really little, and I watched it, and I was like, I love this movie. I started singing the songs, and I guess like being that young, I didn't realize, sexual undertones in a lot of
Yeah, neither did I.
But yeah, I love the movie Grease. It's my favorite movie. It made me fall in love with theater. And I just love that movie. I love it so much that I always told myself that if I ever had a little boy, I would name him Daniel. So that way, like, the girls can call him Danny. Like Danny Zuko. Yeah, that was my favorite movie, Grease.
Yeah. Steve loves Grease. Grease is great. My sis had the VHS, and Trey Courtney says Jurassic Park. Yeah,
Ooh.
Nice. Yep. Okay. Question number 3. What is the most annoying habit other people have?
Like
a habit that, in other words, not one you have, a habit someone else has that is most annoying to you.
I'll say like picking noses. There's some people that just pick their nose and they don't realize that they're in public while they pick their nose.
Yeah.
And sometimes they are digging for a winner. They're digging for gold, and they don't realize that they're at a movie theater in front of a lot of people, and they will dig for gold. And I'm like sitting 2 rows behind them, looking at them, asking, "Why are you digging in your nose?"
Oh yeah, it's so
We're
disgusting.
in public. Stop it.
There we go. Uh-oh, I'm feeling judged. Steek says, spoiling cats till they get loud monsters. My cat is going deaf, Steek. That's why she's so loud. He thinks I messed up my cat. He hates my cat. He thinks she's too noisy. Oh, Sam McCabe, chewing gum with their mouths open or biting down on cutlery. Can't stand it. Screams and potato. Yeah, actually, I'm kind of grossed out by that one. That actually really grosses me out when people do that stuff. It's like, oh, yeah. All right. What do you have here? What would you do with $1 million?
Oh, I already know this. So I would buy my mom's house. I would like get them all cars. I would get my brothers, a nice house. I would get them, the family vehicles that they would want. I would get my other brother a house, get them the family vehicles that they want. And then after my family is taken care of, then I would focus on myself, get myself a nice house in a location. I'm not super outlandish, so it would just be like a house in a gated neighborhood or something, so I have privacy, or maybe a house on land or something, and get myself like a car that I've always wanted, like, I don't know, a Range Rover. I'm really not incredibly I'm so simple. I love Range Rovers, and I've always wanted one. And then put the money aside, like put it in, invest the rest of the money. But that's it. I would take care of my family before I would take care of myself, and then once I had my house and land and knew all of that was taken care of, then I would set some money aside for the future, invest some money, and then not have to worry.
That's good. Yeah, Achilles says these are 4 houses and 4 cars. Yeah, but that you could do that with $1 million. Yeah. Invest all of it in crypto, says Jariah's Lament.
Yeah. They're not, I wouldn't be like buying huge mansions for my, no. Just like a nice home in a nice neighborhood with some good schools,
Aw.
Yeah.
Look at you being a nice person.
Because I've thought about that. Like we've all had the conversation. What if we won the lottery?
Yeah,
we've all had that conversation. So I already know what I would do.
Oh, yeah. No, that's great. Yeah. And, Steve says he'd buy a house and pay off a friend's medical bills.
Yeah.
Archer would buy 1/6 of Steve Austin.
The wrestler.
Sam would buy a family home and pay off university debts. Potato Revan would pay Miss Martin to move in with Steve and follow him around with her cat, screaming at him, "Why don't you love her?" Oh no. That wouldn't go off very well. He would kill her. He would kill her. Literally. I'd buy a Meta PC, says Riker 17.
Very awesome.
Yeah.
That would be a really good investment.
Yes. Potato Revan is correct. She was the cat did once get hit with a D20, and everyone said that was a critical hit. She was in the way. She got in the way. That's the problem with cats. They get in the way, and then they get mad at you when, yeah. Oh, not Steph, $6 million man, way before you. Oh. Oh, gosh. Everyone's like the $6 million man. Oops. Potato Revan says, if I had $1 million, I'd try to get the best surgery so I can walk and live without pain. Yeah.
Now you're on my list of people to help if I ever won the lottery or got a lot of money.
There you go. I just pray to Saint Finbar because he is the superior saint rather than that other Waterford saint. Steve Kenobi says, I'd kill Teresa's cat, then give Teresa $10,000 for a new cat. Actually, he would. He really hates her. I keep telling him she's 19. She's not going to be around for too much longer. I mean, come on. And she might be a bit, she's an old one. And she's partly deaf. So, yeah. So I think when she meows, she doesn't know how loud she is.
That's like my oldest dog. So I have 2 dogs. I have 3 dogs. One of them went to go and live with my parents a while ago because my dad's dog died. So I gave him one of my dogs when I was younger. And that one is now 16 years old. He is so old. He is partially blind. He is deaf. But right now, since I moved to Florida, my parents are taking care of my other 2 dogs, Harley and Georgie. And now that my dad was telling me that now that they're taking care of Harley and Georgie, that Jojo's the older 16-year-old dog, that Jojo is kind of come back to life, because they're sort of keeping him on his toes, and he has a little bit more energy now that they're around. Aww. So they're kind of prolonging his life, which is really good. But yeah, he is an old dog. He is 16.
Oh my goodness.
Gosh, he
is
16.
Old.
Yeah.
And he's Saint Orn's gonna punch Saint Finbar. Yeah, well, he can handle it. Steve, deaf doesn't equal a certain word, Teresa. Not the same thing. Yeah, he does not like her. Wait, Oren, isn't it? I think I pronounced it wrong. Alrighty, well, let's go to the next question. if you didn't have to sleep, what would you do with the extra time?
I would get better at Mario Kart and get better at video games in general. Like I know that because like whenever I start a video game, I will not stop playing it. That's what I would do. I would do that with my extra time.
Well done.
It's
More
terrible.
video games.
It's terrible. Like I bet some people are like, I would help out. I would volunteer. No, I would get good. That's what I would do. I would get good.
All right. Well, there you heard it here first. Hey, it's your life. I mean, you can do as you like. No, that's great. Oh my goodness. Oops, this roll too. If you could remove one invention from the world, what would it be and why?
AI.
Mm-hmm.
I would get rid of AI. That shit scares me to death.
Yeah. That is totally.
Like, I wouldn't even want people to be able to invent it. Just remove the idea from everybody's brains.
Yes.
That's what I would get rid of.
All forms of AI. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's creepy. It's evil and all of that.
Yeah.
TD says, would you play Resident Evil, though?
Oh, my gosh. I know. Mara's been wanting me to play that game since it released. Yes, I would play Resident Evil. Okay. I would get good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Steve's awful. He said, I would remove makeup and mirrors to F up women royally. How dare you? How dare you? Archer Collin, gunpowder, longbows forever. If I had extra time, you see, here we go. Here's something nice. He would look for the cure for cancer, but video games is just as good. You horrible,
I know.
woman.
You know what? Here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. I know my limitations. I would not be able to find the cure for cancer. I just don't have that kind of knowledge. All right. What I want to do is get good at video games. I have that level of knowledge. All right.
Oh no. Yeah.
I know my limitations. Answer, okay.
Yeah. Oh, he goes, clipped it, Steph, and gonna send it tomorrow. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay. My goodness. Well, last but not least, what do we have? Oh, get a lottery ticket. You rolled the same number. The same number 3 times. And I am. I'm shaking my hand. Let's see. Oh, no shit. That's the same number 4 times. Oh. Get the lottery. It's number 19 that keeps rolling. Okay. Oh, wow. What is the one thing that you can't live without?
My phone.
Oh, there we go. I pretty much kind of agree with you. And I always tell people, besides the obvious.
It's such a modern answer, right? Some people are like, yeah, my phone. I can't live without it.
Yeah. Well, and it always goes without saying.
It's got everything in it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, money, all the information, all communication. Yeah. Because I always say that.
I have no phone numbers memorized. I have nothing memorized anymore. My phone has like made my brain lazy as shit. So I need it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I absolutely agree with you. Air and food. Yeah. Well, that goes along. I would say that's with things like family and friends and a few people have told you're not allowed to say Jesus.
She said one thing. Like I'm thinking of an item with that question. Not
hello. Yeah. Yep. Fair enough.
I feel like that question goes along with like what would you take to like a deserted island or something like that? That's how I view that question.
Or even a desert one. My eyesight, says Steve, can't read, play games, or watch movies without it. Good point. Yeah, you can't play those video games instead of curing cancer. You heartless person. Hope to have a better hope for a better tomorrow. There will be. Or even if it doesn't get better, we can always change our attitudes and just become a hermit like me. I hope you got backup info on your phone.
No, if I lose everything, that's it. When my phone dies, I don't know what to do.
It's the end of Steph as we know her. I'd take a boat to deserted island. The Bible says Achilles heels. If your phone, says Riker 1776, if your phone, then you don't need anything behind you. Right, guys? I guess. I'm not sure to what that. Oh, I get it to back it up. Oh, never mind. Okay, I got it. Sat nav equipped, of course, or sat naved equipped. You're not a hermit. You're a prisoner in a gilded cage. There you go. Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I was one of those people that when COVID hit and they forced us to stay inside, I was like, this is my dream. This is my dream. Everyone's leaving me alone.
I think it was every introvert's dream.
Yeah.
Yes. Finally.
Believe it or not, I am actually by nature an introvert. I like my own quiet space and stuff. But yes, indeed. Well, and that is it. That is the roll 7. Thank you, Stephanie, for a great time once again on Pub Crawl. I can say its name now, really? Oh, boy. Okay, the toys behind her quickly before they notice. Oh, those ones. Yeah. Oh, yeah, those creepy toys. They come to life at midnight.
Ah.
They lifted the roll. No. Oh, really? Well, you know what? I don't care anymore. I'm just being careful because I will sell my soul to YouTube. I'll sell myself for 158 more subs, and but no, I love everyone and everyone that's helped me to get to this far as I am. Well, or as far as I am. And Stephanie, tell us where we can find you and what's coming up.
You can find me on Kick. I'm trying to build my Kick, so if you want to follow me on Kick, that would be outstanding. And then also subscribe to Geeks and Gamers Clip and Geeks and Gamers Life. I kind of run those 2 channels. So, and also Mario Kart tonight on G&G channel.
Oh, there you are. Yeah. Well, and thank you everyone in the chat. I'm just going to do a general thank you. Here we go. Thank you. Love you all. Everyone coming in. Thank you, Achilles Heel, for subscribing. And stay tuned here at Miss Smart Muses, where I talk about what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. I have a review of the new Conan comic out. Also, Teresa Travels for tomorrow. Teresa Travels Tuesdays. Hopefully, if the dog allows me, I'm dog sitting right now. Also, more Pub Crawl guests lined up. I will let you all know as soon as we've got the schedule locked in. See, I'm going to be Wednesday night talking history, Civil War, etc. on Dadman Walking, and you'll see me around. You'll see me around, and of course, always here at Miss Smart Muses. So, speaking of Steve, yeah, he's endorsing it. Go read the new Conan Steph homework. Do it. Yes, thank you, everyone, and I'll be reading a lot too. Some people are just popping in. Oh, thank you for everyone being here. And have a great day, everyone. Have a great day, and be certain to forget video games and go find the cure for cancer instead.